Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be she asked for space. I didn't give it to her. Now she says, leave me alone. Well, this particular email is from a guy who says he didn't have his life together when he started dating this particular woman. And he basically couldn't handle dating a woman that knocked his socks off. So he didn't have his life in order. He wasn't balanced. He wasn't calm. He wasn't totally centered in his purpose and his mission. And then on top of that, he started dating a woman that knocked his socks off. And he says he became needy, became neurotic. The guy couldn't exercise any self-control to the point where she basically broke things off, said, don't call me, give me some space. I need some time to figure out my feelings. And he just couldn't help himself. He kept calling. He'd wait a few weeks. He'd hold out for maybe 3 or 4 sometimes. And then he'd reach back out. Then she'd get pissed at him for reaching out. And the whole reason why she broke up with him is because he couldn't keep his word. In other words, she couldn't trust his masculine core. He would say one thing and then do another. She'd say, I need space. He'd say, sure, I'll give it to you. And then he wouldn't give it to her. And when you behave this way, women are not going to feel safe with you. And on top of that, the whole year, I guess, or so that they dated, he was constantly blowing his top, getting upset, getting mad, having arguments, and just constantly communicating that he didn't have his shit together emotionally. Because masculinity is calm. And he wasn't calm. He was totally uncentered all the time. She broke up with him, gave him asked for space. He didn't give it to her. So he continued to prove to her over and over and over and over again that he was not calm. He was not centered. He couldn't keep his word. In other words, he just wasn't a competent man. He displayed incompetence and a total lack of confidence. And if you do that enough times, you're going to drive a woman's feelings away to the point where they lose all respect, all attraction for you. And now in this case, she's like, leave me the hell alone. So it's a good email to see what happens when a guy really takes it to the extreme and he just won't stop pursuing a girl. It just gets to the point where she's so disgusted with him, she's like, doesn't even want to interact with him anymore. So it's a good email on what not to do. So he says, hi, Coach. Long story short, we dated and were friends with benefits for over a year. I didn't have my act together, but she was always due to leave for Barcelona in March of 2024 for several months to finish her master's. I knew this in the summer of 2023. So you can imagine he's worrying about that date. Oh, I got to get her. I got to keep her. How do I get her to like me? Acting like a girl, basically. Instead of a man who's like, well, of course she's going to stick around. Of course she'll be back. He had no confidence, no competence. She left and essentially ended it saying we need time for ourselves and that I had to work on many issues. If I was a bet man, if I was talking to her, she'd say I felt like I was losing myself being with this guy. Because of his neurotic and his needy behavior, she always felt like she's walking on eggshells and having to jump through her butt to not get him upset, to cause him to not come totally unglued. He says, it's true, I was the main fuck up. It hurt like a bitch, but I took it and focused on myself. I got a job, I started training, reading your book multiple times and watching your videos because she highlighted my weaknesses. A good woman will point out all of your flaws, your faults, when you're not keeping your word, when you're not living up to your full potential. She'll cut right to the fucking bone. And you got to be able to take it, not get butthurt, not get upset. Just look at it and go, okay, well, yeah, I guess I do need to improve. So I'm going to work on that and I'll handle it. That's what men just do. They don't get mad. They don't get butthurt. They don't argue. They just go, well, maybe there's a reason why she says I make her feel this way. After about 3 weeks, I got in contact because she was keeping my voice notes on iMessage, which I now know is wrong. Yeah, she said I need space, and then you didn't give it to her. You held out for 3 whole weeks. And what was going on is you're freaking out inside because you fear losing her. So what do? You reached out, not because you miss her or you want to talk to her. You're reaching out and going, oh, does mommy still like me? Does she still care? So you're reaching out to look for attention and validation. And again, that's a feminine thing to do. It's not masculine at all. Because any high status, high value man is going to have the attitude of, hey, if I don't take you all the way, then go. But good love's hard to find. If I don't do it for you, then go find somebody else. If you think you can do better than me, then go. But good love is hard to find, like Tom Petty said. But she took it well, but said she needed time. Again, she reiterates, leave me the fuck alone. I then reached out again at the end of April because I figured she'd be finishing her master's by then. When a woman says, I need space, give me some time, you don't keep calling and badgering her. Are you ready? Are you ready to talk to me yet, Mommy? Mommy, can I get an attaboy? Mommy, am I a good boy? Huh? Pet me on the head? At that point, she was 2 weeks out from finishing. I managed to get her on a video call. So he's just, Mommy, please pay attention to me. I've changed. Let me prove it to you. Which is totally unmasculine. It's basically the vibe that he's giving off. This is what happens when a guy does not get enough strokes as a kid. Mommy and daddy doesn't say, I love you enough, or I'm proud of you. He grows up incredibly insecure, and he needs reassurance. And women like guys that are confident. And if you constantly need reassurance that they like you, that's the opposite of confidence. That's an insecure little boy. Women don't want an insecure little boy. They have to teach how to be a man. They want a man to already know how to be a man so they can follow his lead. And instead, you're showing up basically treating her like your mommy. So he managed to get her on a video call, and we had 3 phone calls hours long, and I could see she loved seeing into her me. Again, just the whole mindset. I got to prove myself to her. So again, she had asked for space. He keeps calling. He called her 3 times, and he's going, oh, this is working great. But probably she's just going along with it to be nice. But after a while, she starts to get irritated again. I could also see she's been working hard, but in all 3 calls, she brought up questions about us, whereas I tried to keep it fun. Eventually, just before her finishing her master's, I tried clearing up her questions, but overpursued, and she essentially told me to leave her alone. So he just kept badgering her. She was nice to him, and eventually she's like, this is disgusting. Again, you're treating her like your mommy. He says, I did. And then after 4 days, she called me pissed and said, is there anything you want to say? I said no. And long and short, she got pissed like never before and said, I don't want to see you. Don't want to hear from you. Done. All you had to do was give me a few more weeks. So she's being rude. She doesn't respect you. She's not attracted to you. She's saying, leave me the hell alone. I don't want to hear from you. But did he listen? I did, but phoned her friend and asked for her address so I could send her an accountability letter. God. When a woman says, I need space, you don't, oh, well, let me send her a letter now. Let me badger her friends. You're just constantly communicating. You have no self-control. This is why you got dumped. And you're continuing to display no self-control. Naturally, her friend fed that back to her, and she phoned me again the next day. Oh, I can imagine. Now she's probably really pissed. Pissed, but also kind of endeared that I'm still fighting. Oh, yeah, you're deluding yourself. We had a 5-hour conversation, but as we spoke more and more, she completely loosened up and said, baby, why did you behave this way? You know I love you. And the reason being is because he's treating her like his mommy. She cares for him. She knows he's a good guy, but he just has no self-control. So she can't respect him as a man. She's not going to trust this guy. She's not going to follow him. She's not going to trust him to handle his purpose and his mission. She can't even count on him just to give her a little fucking space. All he had to do is just, all right, well, call me when you miss me. And just let her fucking be. And he couldn't do it. She said, but the way you've behaved... Oh, let me finish. This is still the girl voice. He had his end quote in the wrong place. Baby, why did you behave this way? You know I love you, but the way you behaved isn't the man I fell in love with. So in other words, he was confident at first. At this point, we are now in 2.5 months of not seeing each other. He says she wanted to see me and stated this, but I overpursued around her most stressful period. She also mentioned a trip away in June together to India and Pakistan for 3 weeks, as she was finally coming back to London on July 1st to start working here. Said it's either that or she goes to Bali to meet her brother, who was also there, as she wanted to mend their relationship. Even mentioned us moving in together when she comes back if everything was okay. In other words, if you finally start acting like a man consistently, we could even move in together. And that her mom liked me even more for some reason. But what does he do? I phoned her 2 days later and said, still need a travel buddy? Mommy, do you like me? Did I wait long enough? She said, I'll think about it. When a woman says, I'll think about it, it means no. But we had the nicest conversation ever for 3 hours, flirting, talking about her issues, which was brought up by her. But she said she couldn't talk loudly because her housemates were next door and essentially told her to block me. So even her roommates are like, who is this douchebag? You got to block that guy. He's like a stalker. It's amazing you didn't get blocked at this point. He says, haha, they never liked me. Anyway, after this call, my battery runs out. Meanwhile, he's like thinking, oh, I'm making progress here. It's like 2 hours later, I get a message. Speaking to you always leaves me all over the place. I can't hide my feelings, but I know for a fact I still need and want space. Despite the talks we had, which I loved, I am asking you the last time to please leave me alone. It was my mistake to respond all the time and give you crumbs I shouldn't have. I understood that today. So in other words, the only reason she was talking to him is she was trying to be nice, but all the while internally she's feeling disgusted by him. It won't happen anymore. I am sorry, I just couldn't help myself. You mean a lot to me. If you really love me, Bob, let me go and let me allow to come back if I want to. And then you can decide if you still want to try. If not, or you found someone else, I would fully understand and be more than happy for you. So in other words, she's like, hopefully you meet somebody else and you leave me the fuck alone. You deserve happiness more than anyone. Letting you go is super hard for me, but I know it's for the best and not the right time. If we try, I will want to be all in fully, which I can't right now. You did so much and showed me that you want and opened up, but now please be man enough to relax and trust. He said, I do love her, so I'll give her the space. She said, please do otherwise. She can't take me seriously anymore. Yeah, she's like, doesn't trust his masculine core at all. Nothing really has changed between how she feels about him and how he behaves. He's not done anything to show that he can be the guy he was in the beginning, which he was definitely not behaving this way in the beginning. That's why she liked him. And that there should be trust and space if we want this to work. That was 2 weeks ago. I put a story up on a Saturday at 3 a.m., and she saw it within a minute and put up a story herself in a random place a minute later. So this tells me she's indirectly speaking to me. Bro. What do I do now to get my woman back, coach? Follow what's in 7 Principles, get an X back. Follow what's in 3% Man. She's asked for space countless times and you've really fucking pissed her off. You have to let her go. Let her be. Let her go through whatever process she needs to go through. Maybe she reaches out to you. Maybe she doesn't. But if you keep badgering her, she eventually is going to block you. If you were pulling this crap in the United States and you guys lived in the same city, you would have a restraining order against you by now. And if you violate that, then you go to jail. So pull your head out of your ass. Stop trying to make her your mommy and your therapist and your emotional support human and leave her the fuck alone. She's asked you multiple times. She's been very gracious with you, but she's also gotten pissed off because she's tired of your bullshit. All she wants you to do is leave her alone. Maybe that's forever. Maybe in a couple of months she reaches out. But I promise you, if you keep badgering her, She's going to be so disgusted, and then all of a sudden you're going to find out she's dating and fucking somebody else and runs off with some other guy and then completely ghosts you and won't even respond to you. So you have to let her be. You have to let her do 100% of the calling, texting, and pursuing from now on. You have to let her do the contact initiation. Will she come back? Flip a coin. It's pretty obvious, though, that you really have pissed her off. And even her friends and her roommates and her flatmates that she lives with are like, block that douchebag. So if you keep badgering her, eventually her feelings are going to be so low that she will block you. And she'll feel good that you're out of her life because you don't make her feel safe. He says, I've gone no contact properly. Well, no contact means no contact. It means unless she reaches out, you're never, ever going to speak again as long as you live. That's what no contact really means, dude. You tried chasing and pursuing and being needy and neurotic and blowing up her phone and constantly messaging her and having long, hours-long conversations continually, and it got you nowhere other than causing her to lose more respect and more attraction for you. And on top of it, now she's really fucking pissed off at you. But I wonder whether I should expect her to reach out and whether I should treat this as a full and final breakup and move on. Well, you should treat it as a full and final breakup because she's in another country. She's like, fuck off. Don't contact me. I might contact you. I might not. Like I said, maybe you got about a 40-45% that chance that she contacts you. It's probably not even 50-50 at this point. I tried speaking to other women, but I'm not ready yet. I would love to even get you on a call for your insight or response in general. What next? I've done a lot of work on me in 3 months. I get attention everywhere. Now it's crazy, but she's still the only girl I want. You're obsessed with the fantasy of what you want. Other women, dating and sleeping with other women and seeing that you actually have other choices. You might find in a couple of months that you really don't want this other girl back. But I promise you, if you keep badgering her, you're never going to get her back. And what'll end up happening is she will just block you everywhere and ride off into the sunset, and she'll feel good about her decision. And all the people that are surrounding her will be like, you made the right decision. It's a good thing you blocked that guy. He was not a good person. He probably would have become a stalker. He was dangerous. When you behave this way, you don't make women feel safe because you're doing nothing but displaying a total lack of confidence and competence as a man. So go and start dating and hooking up with some other girls and get yourself some choices and some options and get yourself some experience applying what's in the book with other women. So if she does reach out in a few months, which I wouldn't count on it, but if she does, she's going to find a more confident, competent guy that's not going to lose his shit all the time and over pursue. And even if she does come back, you got to let her do all the contact initiation, and then you just make dates that can lead to sex at your place. That's it. You cannot pursue a woman and continue to do what you've done after she's begged you for space. And she was more than nice and more than gracious because, quite frankly, most women would have blocked your ass a long time ago. And if you were in the States, they probably would have had a restraining order on your ass by now. So you need to knock it off, dude, if you want to have any chance of getting her back. So if you guys haven't already signed up for our members-only content, if you're watching this video on YouTube, in the video description below, there are links to subscribe on my website, understandingrelationships.com. Just click the Plans tab. And if you sign up for an annual plan, you get a 25% discount after a 7-day free trial, so you can check out the members-only content that we have. And what you get for the members-only content, you get 6 additional video coaching newsletters like this per week, which are exclusive for members only. You get the 3% Man Weekly podcast, where I discuss with the girls and the guys. We literally go page by page in the book, and then once we get to the end, we'll go back and we'll just keep going through it. We'll start taking in viewer questions that you guys have that you submit. Again, this will be members only. Members will be able to submit questions for the members only questions in the 3% Man Study Group podcast and the Mastering Yourself Study Group podcast. Plus, when we do the short viewer questions that people submit, we have those full podcasts in there. And any special interviews or members-only content, you'll have access to that as well. Again, in the video description below this video, you can subscribe on my website. And if you choose an annual plan and pay up front after the 7-day free trial, you get a 25% discount. You can also subscribe monthly. You can subscribe monthly on Spotify. There's a link in the video description if you would rather subscribe on Spotify. And if you want to consume the members-only content on YouTube, obviously the link is below to subscribe to members-only content on my YouTube channel. And if you got a question or a challenge and you would like to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen on any page of my website, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.